Global warming is happening. It is happening in many places around the world, and it is slowly making our planet become an uninhabitable place to live in. A few of the places that I'll be speaking about today of where global warming is happening include the polar regions, the rainforests, and the oceans. A few of the causes of global warming are pollution, the burning of fossil fuels, and large-scale deforestation. Some of the consequences of global warming include major climate change, tropical diseases and pests entering into the middle latitudes, and migration from droughts and floods. What can we do to help prevent it from happening? Today I'm just going to talk about a few of the ways, but there are many ways. We can start by conserving, we can get the government involved in a certain way, and we can recycle. Global warming is a serious problem, and it is slowly happening, and it needs to be prevented in the best ways possible. And in order to understand the basics of global warming, we need to look at where it's happening, the causes and consequences of it, and what we can do to help prevent it. The Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines global warming as an increase in the Earth's atmospheric and oceanic temperatures, widely predicted to occur due to an increase in the greenhouse effect, resulting especially from pollution. Global warming is melting the polar ice caps. When the polar ice caps start melting, it's going to cause a rise in the sea levels too high for our climate here on Earth. And also when the polar ice caps melt, it is going to endanger the polar bears because of their climate that will disappear right beneath their feet. Rainforests are disappearing as well, by 1,500 acres per hour to be exact. We're clearing timber in the rainforest for tropical fruits, cut flowers, and biofuels, especially like sugarcane. Medicines are another thing that are disappearing. At least 50% of all medicines contain a rainforest component, and medicines are in danger because of large-scale deforestation. Oceans are changing too. The plankton in the ocean is disappearing at an alarming rate. Plankton absorbs a lot of the greenhouse gases that we create, and so when the plankton starts disappearing, then there is even more pollution left in the atmosphere. So when there's no plankton, there's no absorption. Warmer waters is one of the few reasons why plankton is starting to disappear. When the temperatures in the ocean rise, this can cause an acceleration in the climate and even stifle marine life, just like the plankton. Now that we have a better understanding of global warming and where it's happening, let's look at some of the causes and consequences of it. The causes of global warming are what we do from an everyday-to-day basis, and we are going to slowly suffer the consequences. Some of the pollutants I want to talk about include the use of chlorofluorocarbons, burning lignite, and some of the stronger pollutants that are in the atmosphere today. Freon is a chlorofluorocarbon and is one of the major pollutants that we use in our refrigerators and air conditioning systems. It rises to the top of the atmosphere, and it can deplete the ozone layer, which blocks out ultraviolet light. The burning of carbon and fossil fuels makes the carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere rise, and when they rise, the worse the Earth's climate will be. Sulfur dioxide is one of the stronger pollutants we produce, and it can cause lung disease and creates acid rain. It comes from the burning of fossil fuels that contain sulfur such as coal and oil. Carbon monoxide is another one of the stronger pollutants that we create, and it can cause chronic heart disease and comes from the burning of fuels from transportation vehicles. Certain climates will start getting drier while the other ones are going to get wetter. Australia is one of the places that is going to get drier, and it's already too dry today. And Europe will be one of the places to get even wetter than it already is. There will be invading tropical diseases and pests that will migrate towards the middle latitudes, such as AIDS and the West Nile virus, for example, which we are already seeing. And then the fire ants, piranhas, and bees are amongst some of the few pests that will become more prevalent too. Now that we have discussed some of the causes and consequences, let's look at what we can do to help prevent global warming in the best ways possible. There are many different things that we can do to help prevent global warming, but a lot of it will involve the word less, which could be a problem for many people. First, we could start off by conserving through a few different ways, such as cutting back on electricity that isn't needed. Like lights in the kitchens or in the bedrooms, you can just turn them off when you're not using them. Or even unplugging the appliances that use up energy, such as toasters, or even your hair curling irons and straighteners. We can make more things that we use every day solar powered. For example, they're starting to make traffic lights and cars solar powered. Or we could even start making our lights on the outside and inside of our house is solar powered. We could start buying smaller cars so that we can use less gas and create less pollution. Or we could buy less cars for our families so that every single family member doesn't have to have their own car. Secondly, we could establish a government to oversee the minerals and energies that we have left, because we need to be able to determine what real assets we possess. We also need to be more pragmatic, and we should do more collective research in this area too. Thirdly, we should start recycling more. It's a very good way to recycle and help the environment, and hopefully more people will start doing it with all the ways that it's possible. Cans and plastics are one of the easier ways that you can recycle. A lot of times your neighborhood has a recyclable garbage truck that can come by and pick up your recyclable garbage as long as you keep it in a separate garbage can. Timber is being recycled in its own ways these days. Loggers are starting to use the entire tree instead of just using the parts that are necessary. So therefore they are wasting very little of the trees that they cut down. Paper is another simple way to recycle, such as newspapers, magazines, or even your school notebooks. Anything that can be recycled has a recycle symbol on it, so that you don't ever have to wonder if it's recyclable or not. I hope that you've been able to grasp some of the basics of global warming, now that we have a better understanding of where it's happening, what the causes and consequences are, and what we can do to put a stop to it. And I hope that we can all start doing our part in helping prevent it.